Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about the fourth unit. In the fourth unit we are going to discuss about the three important aspects. One is you can say that what we have discussed in the last third unit, that is called digital identity. Here one important aspect is called how to protect digital identity. Number two is you can say that what are the next important aspect is digital society. Then how can we use the particular thing in the day to day life, that is called cyber risk in daily life. These three important aspects we are going to discuss in the particular fourth lecture. So, what are the way in which we can protect the identities? Number one, you can say that attempt to conduct phishing. Number two, customize private setting and social media account. Number three, avoid public Wi-Fi for digital transaction. Number four, update software regularly. Number five, review of accounts is a statement frequently. So that means attempt to conduct phishing means what? You can say that it is available. So one can identity theft by becoming cautious to unknown email messages and link. So whenever you are getting any kind of information, any kind of messages via, you can say that internet or SMS, you have to avoid that kind of things. Through that we can protect your identity. That is called attempt to conduct phishing. Number two is attempt to avoid public Wi-Fi for digital transaction. So whenever you are doing any kind of digital transaction, so you must have your own private network. Through that, if you are doing any kind of transaction, that transaction is safe. If you are using any public Wi-Fi system or public network or open access network, your sensitive information can be, I can say that, steal by some hackers on the online. So, for maximum you try to use your own network. Next you can say that update your software regularly. So, whatever the may be the system you are using, whether it is a computer or mobile, so the software update is very essential to protect your identity. Next, the fifth, the last one is you can say that review of account statement frequently. So, whatever may be the transaction you are performing, you must have some account. With the help of this account only you can identify the what kind of transaction you have done earlier. So, that you have to verify the transaction at frequently, weekly or monthly. Okay, once in month you have to verify this one. Through that, if there is any financial transaction taken by or done by some other, can be very easily avoided. That is, you can say that with the help of the digital identity. So, these are the way in which you can protect your identity. Next, we are going to talk about the digital society. So, digital society means what? So, digital society refers the community that well connected through information and communication technology, which facilitates interaction, communication, transaction, exchange of information. So, with the help of the technology or with the help of the internet, with the help of the data or information, you are gathering or transmitting information from one place to another person or one person to another person. That is normally comes under collectively it is called digital society. Means everybody is connected, every person in the society is connected, that is called digital society. So, what are the components of digital society? One is called digital platform. Next one is called digital business. So, digital platform nothing but the platform available, wide range of platforms are available digitally. One can very easily access the data whatever you want, that is called a digital platform. For example, Amazon is one of the platform, through that you can purchase any kind of goods and services. Next, digital businesses, you can purchase or sell any kind of things digitally, that is also very much useful for the digital society. Next, digital society infrastructure. The infrastructure available for the physical connectivity, or you can say that on ground transaction or connectivity between communication and operation. So, whenever the particular system is properly executed, or you can say that properly aligned, the proper infrastructure facilities available, the society may get the information very easily. The supporting foundation, next we talk about that. The smooth functioning of the digital society depends upon the digital infrastructure. If the digital infrastructure is not available properly or systematically, so nobody can collect, or you can say that connect with, or one society cannot connect with another society, or one group of people cannot connect with another people. Therefore, the supporting document or supporting foundation is very essential. Next, what are the challenges in the digital society? So, number one, you can say that privacy and data protection, and number two, you can say that social and behavioral issue. In case of privacy and data protection is concerned, you can say that they are violating the private rights, or anybody can access your private data when you are not securing, or you can say that not protecting your data properly, or the setting you have made in the particular app or particular link is not proper. Automatically anybody can access your private data. Therefore, data protection is not possible. These are one of the important challenges. Next, you can say that social and behavioral issues. In social and behavioral issues, normally there is one kind of rhythm or set of information is flooded in the society, or you can say that in the net. Through that, it will be affect the mentality or psychological of the person. Therefore, the trend will be set by some group of person. The followers are also going along with them. That is normally called behavioral changes or behavioral issues also be there in digital society. Another important challenges in digital society. Then regulatory complexity, that is also another important things, because very complex tasks, or you can say that management of any kind of information is possible only when if you have good regulatory, means rules and regulation. That is if it is not there, anybody can interfere, or you can say that access your data. There is normally called regulatory complexity is very less, or you can say that Indian, or you can say that the digital laws available in the country is not, you can say that up to the mark. Therefore, it is called anybody can access the data, leaking of data is possible. Then organizational structural changes, you can say that essentially of the innovation and leadership digital society is possible only when if you have good organizational and structural requirement. If the organizational setup is not good, or the structure, or you can say that organizational structure is not up to the mark, then digital society is not at all a good one. Next, you can say that cyber risk, another one is digital inequality. In cyber risk, you can say that the major component of the cyber digital society is participant is because they are this particular system or particular network is attacked by the different hackers or online fraudulent. So, through that you can say that cyber risk is very much available. So, therefore, it is the duty of the particular server, or you can say that companies or organization or institution must aware about the cyber risk. Next, digital inequality, because the digital connectivities in the country is not equally distributed, because some people are having good connectivity or good network, or you can say the devices, majority or maximum of people are not having this digital you can say that access. Therefore, this is also another important challenges in digital society. Then another important, you can say that how the cyber, what kind of risk is available in the cyber area, or you can say that in day to day life. Number one is called, you can say that information stealer. So, information stealer means it is a malicious program steal information, a system that can even capture keystroke and browser and data files. So, whenever you are typing or you can say that you are accessing a particular website, they can very easily access what kind of or what are the website you are visiting, or what kind of key you are typing through that particular area. That is called information stealer. That is, attacker can very easily steal your information. That is called information stealer. Number two is called Trojan. So, this is often installed legitimately in your software or file. Through that, malicious attachment and links. Trojan is a malware that steal your data. A Trojan is a, you can say that one kind of software that is loaded like other software. They can collect your information or collect the data from your system, or you can say that your devices. Next you can say that ransomware, this is also we have already discussed in the previous chapter. This is the malware seek ransom access to your own system by encrypting system or file purposefully. So, this is one of the, you can say that one kind of software that will be loaded or you can send to you by mail or message. Through that they can very easily access your data. Next third one is called advanced persistent threat, APTs normally it is called. So, APT targets entity like organization, firms and government bodies and other using complex and highly advanced or motivated to pursue the whole of the long term basis, because these are the APTs are normally attacking the organization or company, or you can say that government organization. So, okay, so that can be also provided, or you can say that faced by in day to day life by the company or firm or government. Next another one is called Trapper. So, Trapper is the malware does not directly harm a system, rather support or another malicious program that to establish their foothold on it, because just like a software that is a original system, through that this also loaded in your system, they will watch what you are doing, that is called Trapper in your system. Next another important aspect is called backdoor, that is also affected in your day to day operation. The malicious program that allows the backdoor access to attackers without authentication. So, without any authentication or without any authorization, they will enter in your system, or you can say that your data, your information can be very easily accessed by them, that is normally called backdoors. They used to give some kind of surveillance, what kind of website you are going, or what kind of movie you are watching, what kind of data you are collecting, they can watch and steal your information. So, application of digital in society. So, normally two important area the application is very much essential. So, one is in education area, another one is in business area. This most many areas it is using, but in major application is you can say that in education, and another one is business area. In the education area, you know very well, this kind of information can be used by developing, you can say text research paper, or you can say that analyze the data, or you can say that online classes can also be done through the particular digital line. So, the digital society can be enforced with the help of the online or online net. Next the business. So, nowadays you can say that the e-commerce, or you can say that online business are flourishing like anything, because if you want to buy any kind of goods and services, or if you want to access any kind of services, one simple click is sufficient to get the particular information or particular product or particular services any part of the country. Therefore, that extent the digital society is helping to the education as well as to the business as well as. Okay, so, these are the things we have discussed in the particular fourth lecture, that is you can say the digital identity and digital society. Thank you.